Hi, my name is Glenn Garnes, and I'm the founder of the Village Connector Community Marketing System. I've also created a special program called Mr. Paycheck Meets the Entrepreneur. And this video is one in a series of videos that's designed to help people who are exploring the possibility of opening their own businesses to understand the opportunities that exist for them and how to get access to the resources to do it right. So you'll find out a little bit more about Mr. Paycheck Meets the Entrepreneur later. But I work with small business owners. I help them to create and start new businesses and to market those businesses on and off the internet. So that's what you can expect to see from me. Now, I call this lesson, Profits Are Better Than Wages. And that's a principle that I learned from a very important person in my life, Jim Rohn, one of the quintessential personal development leaders of his time. Now, Mr. Rohn passed away about this time last year, but he left some incredible wisdom for us in his teachings, his CDs, and his books. And I would strongly encourage you to seek out that knowledge that he shared because it is invaluable. But for today's purposes, I'm going to give you my spin, my slant on the lesson that he taught, Profits Are Better Than Wages, from my own perspective. Now, in order to do that, I got to take you back to a time, probably for some of you, your parents, if you were my age, 50 or older or 50 or younger, then your parents probably worked for a company where they've spent the majority of their career with the same company. And that's why a long time ago, people thought that there was something called job security. You know, where you went to work for a company, you spent 40 years there, they gave you a gold watch and your retirement party, and everything was fine. You lived comfortably thereafter. The truth is that today, the last thing that is secure about or the last thing in life that is secure is a job. We see people getting laid off left and right. Unemployment is at record levels, and the fact is that there just aren't enough jobs for everyone that needs to have one. So what I want to do is I want to share with you my philosophy about where the real security is. And for me, that security is in the opportunity to be in business for yourself. So we're going to talk today about job security versus business opportunity. So let me share a thought with you real quick just to kind of illustrate this point. When you work with somebody, let's say that you're a bookkeeper and you work for a company that employs you as a full-time bookkeeper. And let's say that your salary is $60,000 a year. Be nice if I could get this pen to write. Maybe if I stand on this side. There we go. Let's say you make $60,000 a year. That's a pretty good salary for a bookkeeper. You probably get some benefits along with that and you're really feeling good. But what happens when you wake up one morning and walk into the office and your boss has decided that that company doesn't need a bookkeeper anymore? Or more importantly, because of the condition of the economy, they can't afford a full-time bookkeeper anymore. You now have one person that's responsible for your income, meaning your employer, and you just lost it. So now you're on the unemployment line. And you're getting into line with other people who have also lost their bookkeeping jobs because their companies are struggling as well, and you're all competing to find a bookkeeping job. That's why there's really not as much security in being in a job as you think. Let's change the scenario a little bit to illustrate the point. Instead of having this $60,000 paycheck, what if you had 6 companies, oh, we got 7 up here. What if you had 6 companies who were willing to pay you $1,000 a month to handle their bookkeeping on a part-time basis? Now, there's lots of companies out here that would like to have a full-time bookkeeper, but they can't afford one, but they need bookkeeping support. So now you put yourself in a position where if you represent 6 companies that each need help for bookkeeping, but none of them can afford you on their own, you now have positioned yourself to be able to be marketable because you're at a price point that they can afford, even in a down economy. But you also now have just expanded your income because at $6,000 a month, you just gave yourself a $12,000 raise. Plus, what are the chances that all 6 of these companies are going to wake up one morning and fire you all at the same time? So your security is more in having a business of your own where you're a freelancer or an independent contractor representing multiple companies for their bookkeeping needs. Now, the other thing that's nice about this arrangement is that you're typically able to work at your own pace, work from home, not have to be at a business from 9 to 5. Your clients don't care at what time of day you're getting their bookkeeping done as long as it gets done. So you actually have more flexibility than when you are employed. Again, the other thing that you need to think about is that even in that full-time job, when was the last time you could walk into your employer and say, hey, listen, I'd really like a raise. Would you think about doubling my salary? I don't think that that's happened in the history of bookkeeping. But even if it has, it doesn't happen frequently. But in your business, if you want to double your salary, all you've got to do is go find 6 more customers who are willing to pay you $1,000 a month to handle their bookkeeping. And if you can do that, you now have been able to double your salary doing the same thing that you already know how to do. You're basically leveraging the ability to be of service to more people and have each of them paying a percentage of what you would like to see yourself be paid. So if you look at it from this perspective, which one of these is more secure? The one paycheck from your employer that might not need you one day, or multiple paychecks from multiple clients who actually need your services but can't afford you full time? So again, if all you did was to pick up one client a month for an entire year, you could double your salary in a 12-month period. This is the kind of concept that you need to understand, because this is where your opportunity is when you consider starting your own business. Now, in a business like this, you can start on a part-time basis, save up enough money to be able to cover yourself so that when you do transition out of your full-time job, you're not sacrificing your standard of living. Let's say you work full-time for a company and you pick up one client who you'll do bookkeeping for on a part-time basis. Most of the time you'd be able to do that after hours. The next month you pick up another one and you're earning $2,000 a month now extra. The bottom line is that by the time you get to your 3rd and 4th client, you'll probably be generating enough money that you could put aside 3, 4, 5 months worth of your regular income and then be able to make the transition, because once you get to your 4th client, you know that you can find 2 more. Once you're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, why would you go into a full-time job in rush hour traffic and work in an office environment when you can be calling the shots in your own business? The problem for most of us is that this goes over our heads, because for most of us, we've been taught to go to school, get good grades, get a resume together, and go work for somebody else. We're not taught about the advantages of being in business for ourselves. Now, there's a lot of other advantages that are being in business for yourself that we're going to cover in other videos. But let me just leave you with one other one. One of the big advantages to being in business for yourself are the tax advantages of having your own business. See, a lot of us, we're complaining about the so-called loopholes that exist for small business owners, or business owners generally, in the tax code, because we don't understand that those benefits are there for us too if we own our own businesses. But when you work for somebody else, they're getting the tax benefits of being in business, not you. But it's up to you to understand that you can change that equation by getting into your own business where you have the tax advantages. That's a whole other topic for another video. We actually cover that in great detail in Mr. Paycheck Meets the Entrepreneur. And that's where you might want to take a look at our website to find out more about how that program can help you to start putting yourself on track to having your own business. So if you'd like to find out more about ways that you can leverage your own business the way I just described here, go over to Mr. Paycheck Meets the Entrepreneur, and that's at MrPaycheck.com, www.thewordMr, M-I-S-T-E-R, paycheck.com. And there's some information there that will help you to understand where the opportunity for you is in having your own business. I want to thank you for watching this video. Again, my name is Glenn Garnes. Please let me know how I can help.